Walaikum salam. Same scenario, Mushida. Okay, allowed. Fine, we can begin now. Why, Mushida? Why? Okay, let's start. Sorry, Rashida. I mean, I thought that was you. Nothing. Good job. Okay, let's begin. So before we start the paper class, what do you called? I'll just tell you how what's going to this happen in this paper class, how it's going to happen, and yeah, I forgot to upload the recording because I'll upload it after class. Anyways, what do you called? How the whole class, how the paper class work, all the structures, I'll let you all know. First thing, as I mentioned previously, the paper class is completely free. It will be completely free until your O levels. So basically, there is not just 1 month or whatever, it's 100% free. On the other hand side, for paper class, there is no specific tute. But the first 2 or 3 months, I think first 2 months, again, we'll be doing programming. Like I think now we're in June, April. So until like around May or end of May, or like until June, again, we'll be discussing the programming questions. It will take around 1 month to discuss, at least 1 month, 1.5 months to discuss programming. So until end of May or else mid of June, we'll be discussing programming question. For programming, there is a tute. Okay. For programming, there is actually a tute. So the programming tute PDF I'll be giving to everyone. And I'll be giving the printed tute to my class students. You'll see it probably coming up within the, it's still not, I didn't still get it from the printed printers. For the class students, you'll be getting the, what do you call, whether you're coming physical or online, whatever. My theory class students, you'll be getting this printed version of the tute in the, along the next tute. I think there'll be another tute coming soon for you all. So along with that, you'll be getting the printed programming paper class tute. And after programming onwards, the next lesson onward, that means once we're done with programming, after that onwards, whatever questions we are going to discuss, it's going to be mixed, which means it will not be like lesson basis, but paper basis. Like for example, we'll be discussing mostly provincial questions. One thing I tell you, only the first month we will be discussing all the questions for paper class, but once we're done with programming, all of the questions we'll be discussing is mainly provincial or questions. The reason is because we are discussing all the questions in class itself. So there's no purpose to discuss all of the questions again, because you all know lesson wise. Whenever lesson is over, all the questions relevant for that lesson we discuss. So separately discussing all the questions here also is not worth it. Okay, so what we'll do here is we are going to mainly discuss the provincial papers, school papers, extra other papers we are going to discuss here. So I have a plan of printing that and making it as a booklet, but still I about that I'll tell you all later. But again, just giving you a heads up. Even though we are starting with oral questions, once we're done with programming, we'll not be again coming back to oral questions. We'll be discussing school papers and other provincial papers. Just giving you a disclaimer now itself. Will you upload the recordings of this class? Okay. So regarding that, so how this class is going to work is like for today, how from today onward, what you should do is I want you all, whether you all are attending my class or not attending my class, both the people. Okay, whether you're attending or not attending, for both the people, you all have to have a separate writing book for paper class. I wish I can give all of you a writing book. The thing is, technically, it's not very feasible, but I will think about it. Okay. I just want all of you to have a writing book. 80 pages is more than enough, I guess, in the beginning, and keep it for the class. So what's going to happen is I'll be screen sharing the respect. Okay. I'll be sharing you all the question. I'll be giving you all time to do the question and discussing the question. That's how it's going to work. Okay. So it's not going to be just me the same as well. Mostly it's this question. It's not going to work like that. You'll be given time to do the question and then I'll discuss the question. Your voice is lagging. What the network is now okay now? Now okay, right? Ryan? Yeah, perfect. So what's going to happen is I'll be giving you a time to do the question, and then you're supposed to write the. You don't have to write the whole question. You just have to write which paper we are doing. Today you can write, for example, let's say 2016. ICT or oral paper, and you can start answering your questions, and then you'll be marking your questions as well. I'll be collecting your marks at the end of the day as well. Okay. In terms of recordings, all these recordings will be available in the Master ID YouTube channel. But apart from that, I'll be posting the recording and the PDF version, the filled PDF and empty PDF. I'll be posting all of these recordings and other materials. I'll be posting all of them in the WhatsApp community. So there's a separate WhatsApp community, like a group for paper class. Make sure all of you are there in it. Suppose, let's say you're on there in this WhatsApp community, then drop a WhatsApp message to this number, the Master IT hotline number, with the hashtag paper class, and I'll WhatsApp you the. This is not the hotline number. Just message that number, and who opens the message, they will send you the link for the WhatsApp community. The recording, all those stuffs there. I'll there. So yeah, that's just the basic introduction. I don't want to flood that up. So just giving you a heads up on that. So just find out a paper photo. And today's question, let's do it a paper. So basically, before if you have a book at your house, perfect. But next week on, make sure there's a proper book for paper class. For today, just figure out a paper and let's start doing it on that. Tin, 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 tin. You're talking like a robot. Is it? This is my normal voice. I don't like to this is like, okay, this network is dancing from the morning. Wait. Give me a moment. I'll just change the network and come. Okay. What I want you all to do is not that rush. That's different. I'll tell about them later. I'll give you a 5 minutes. Okay, I'll give you 5 minutes and just start this question. Just write down the question. I didn't still change the network. I didn't still change the network. Okay, how is my voice now? Am I lagging still or is it normal? Better. Perfect. I'll give you 5 minutes. Start in that question, all of you. Once you're done, raise your hands up in the participants list. In Zoom, you have the option to raise your hands up. Right? So once you're done, raise your hands. Okay, the timer is also on. Do this question. Once you're done with this question, you can raise your hands in Zoom. Do we need a CR book or any book? Any book? Anything is fine, but preferable CR. Again, that's not a problem. Any book is fine. If you have any doubts, you can drop in the chat. I'm here only. We didn't study arrays. Yeah, just try doing this question. I'll teach you. Yeah. Only in the Colonna we learned arrays in theory class. That's fine. Uh, well, not online hasn't studied arrays still. No shit. Forget about the arrays. Just think about the idea of variables. You can imagine this and do, man. What are you supposed to do? Write the answer for this question paper and I'll be discussing in 3 minutes. Can we write it on your theory class writing book? I didn't give you a writing book, no. I gave only 24 items. I'll explain, don't worry. Can I know what are the days and timings you do class in Master Veloth? Grade 11 Veloth is on Fridays. Drop a WhatsApp message this number, which I'm putting in a chat. Asking the timetable. I'll send it easily. You won't discuss oral past papers, right? Programming, I'll be discussing oral past papers. But once programming is done, what do you call the paper class? We are not doing oral questions because the theory class we're doing it. How was it, Andre? Don't worry, I'll discuss it. Maria first number. Not necessary. No. Those who are done with it, raise your hands up. Let's see. Assignments on Thursdays. Just drop me WhatsApp message. I'll send you details. Walaikum salam. Paper class, yes, Sharma. Every week. Well, I have 1.5 minutes remaining, guys. What is the instruction before 10? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You mean right tail line number? How long will these classes be free? Lifetime. Paper class is never charged. Free until you do yours. We have 40 seconds remaining. Yes, Mohriz. If there's anyone of y'all who joined late, make sure that you all, what you call, watch the recording of this class, the beginning part of the class, because I explained about how you can obtain recordings, how should you, how does the class happen, what are the things we'll be doing, all of those stuffs. If you're wondering where to get the recording from, I'll just send a link of WhatsApp group. Just make sure you're there. I can go just on the WhatsApp and send you the details. Just again, if you want to contact me through WhatsApp, don't message any of my other numbers. Just message the Master ID hotline. Okay, your time is up. Let's check your answers. Stop your workings and listen to me completely. And then, because some of you all might be already knowing what is arrays, for some of you, arrays might be a new topic. Okay, listen. Normally, if you take what you call programs, okay, whether it's pseudocode or whatever, or a real program, when you want to store values temporarily, for example, let's say like you're doing these questions in maths, we do have these simultaneous equations, right? We're not doing maths in simultaneous equations kind of questions. Like let's say they say, okay, a person who goes to the shop, he buys 3 pencils and 3 erasers for some amount of rupees. And the number of pencils plus erasers, this amount of rupees. Like those kind of simultaneous questions when you get in maths, when you're doing the question for temporary purpose, you will be like, okay, let the price of a pen be X, let the price of a pencil be Y. And you'll be doing questions, right? Now, when you're doing that, you're using a word or you're using a letter, and in that word or in that letter, you're going to store a value. Similarly, in a program, Let's say you're going to store values like this. Let's say you're going to say x equals 5 and y equals 7. And let's say you're going to say total is equal to x plus y. And let's say you're going to say display total. I have written here small pseudocode, a part of a pseudocode, not a full pseudocode, just a part of a small pseudocode. Now, if you look at this rough pseudocode you have here, I have used some words, letters, right? X, Y, total. And in those respective words or in those respective letters, I'm going to store a value, right? So we have a special name we give for them. What is that? Oh, sorry. Under a word or under a letter, if I'm going to store a value, we have a special name we give for them. What do you call them as? Perfect. We call them as variables. Okay, we call them as variables. So variables are used to store values. Now, the point of variables is a variable can store only one value at a given time. Means on this program, I have x and y, right? Now, if I have another program like this, let's say I have x equals 5, x equals 7, display x. If I have a program with these three instructions, what do you think the output of this program would be? X equals 5, x equals 7, display. Is it going to be 5 or is it going to be 7 or is it going to be 57 or is it going to be 12 or exactly what's the output? Or is it going to give me an error? Okay, I'll ask you a simple question. I am telling you all, okay, let's say today I'm telling you all that the price of a pen is, okay, today I'm coming and telling you all the price of a pen is 10 rupees. After another 3 more months, I'm now coming and telling you all, okay, due to inflation, what do you call every price is an increase. Now I'm coming and telling you the price of a pen is, after 3 months, I'm coming and saying the price of a pen is now 50 rupees. Now, after I say the price of pen is 50 rupees, if I come and ask you, or if someone comes and asks you, what is the price of pen? What will be your answer? Will your answer be 10? Will your answer be 50? Or will your answer be 60? Or will your answer be price is having an error? After 3 months, the price increase and someone is coming and asking you, okay, what is the price of pen? What's going to be your answer? Exactly. Your answer is going to be what? The price is 50 rupees. Similarly, I'm saying there's a variable called x. The value of x is 5. The next instruction I'm saying is the value of x is 7. So initially what happened was there's a variable called x. It was storing the value of 5. Then you came and told no, x is now 7. So now what happened is the value of x got modified and the value of x is 7. So when you say display x, it will go and see what is the value of x. X is how much? X is 7. So 7 is going to get displayed here. Is that part clear, all of you? Got it? So based on this, tell me, if you take a variable, we are storing a value under a letter or word or something, no? At a given time, at a specific time, a variable can store how many values? Only one value, or it can store many values? Like it can store only that 7, or it can store 5 and 7 both. One value or many values? At a time, how many values can a variable store? Correct. At a time, it can store only one value. It will forget the previous value and it will store only the latest value. It will remember only the latest value. Now, if you notice this, this has a small problem. So let's say, imagine there is a, what do you call, program you have to create. In that program, let's say you want to store the student's name. You want to store the student's name. And imagine if you're going to store in this, let's say there's a classroom with, let's say, 50 students, and you're going to store each and every student's name in 50 different variables. Unwantedly, you have to create 50 variables. It's like a hectic task. So if you come and ask, well, can't we store all 50 variables under one person's, like one name, under one name? Let's say there's a variable called student name. Under one name, under we call it identifier. Okay. Under one identifier, if you ask me, can't we store all 50 values, like all 50 students' name separately? If you come and ask me, actually, there is a solution for that. So there is a type of variable known as arrays. Again, keep in mind, array is actually a type of variable. So what's special about arrays, apart from mentioning the name of the variable, along with mention the name of the variable, in square brackets, you mention something called as index. Let me elaborate this. Imagine there's a road. In this road, let's say there's two lands. In the first land, there's one house. In the second land, there is an apartment. Now, if you take apartments, inside apartments, you will find only one house, or will you find many houses? Exactly. If you go to apartments, you can find many houses. Let's say the address of this one is number one, address of this is number three. Now, if the apartment has many houses, will all the houses have the same address as number three? Like every house will be like number three, number three, number three, number three. Will all those houses in the apartment be number three, just number three only? No. Even though all of them are in the same land, what will happen is, let's say in the first floor there are two houses. In the first floor, if there's two houses, the first house might be 3, 1 upon 1. The next will be 3, 1 upon 2, let's say. Second floor house might be 3, 2 upon, let's say, 2 upon 1. Or 3, 2 upon 2, or vice versa. Likewise, you notice, even though all of them are in the land number 3, each of the houses, even the first floor house might be 1 upon 1, 1 upon 2. Second house might be 2 upon 1, 2 upon 2. Likewise, if you notice, even though all of them are in the same land, will all of them have the same address in the apartment? No, they're going to have different. So the same idea, if you take an array, what's going to happen is, even though we're going to store multiple values, like imagine array and the variables in arrays like boxes. If you take variable, what happens is variable is like one box where you can store only one value. For example, I'm going to store the number 57 or 570. But if you take array, what's special about array is you have like inside one box, you have compartments, like you have sections, separations. And what's going to happen is you can store multiple values. Like for example, I can have the number 30, 70, and let's say 100. So for both the arrays and variable, let's say this fellow's name is called X, this fellow's name is called Y. I can identify the variable. Now, if I say display Y, let's say I'm saying Y is equal to 570. And if I say display Y, what will happen is in this situation, it will display 570. Now, if you look at the array, in this array, how many values am I storing? Look at this array and look at the array called X and tell me, in this array called X, how many values am I storing? How many different values am I storing? How many compartments are there here? In that one name called X, I'm having 3 compartments. Perfect. So what I can do is, let's say I want to display only 30. What's special about array is, for every value, we have a position. Just like in apartment, every house has like 1 upon 1, 1 upon 2, 1 upon 3. In these arrays also, for every value, we have a position and we increase like 0, 1, 2. So if I say display X, that's not how it'll display the whole array, but that's not how you do it. If I want to display 30, I'll be like display X index 0. This will display 30. If I say display X index 1, this will display 70. If I say display X index 2, this will display 100. So what's happening is, when you want to display a value or whatever, without just mention the name of the array, along with the name, you mention the index, or also known as the position of where is it stored inside the array. So that is how the array concept works. Under one common name, under one common name, you can store multiple values. And how you can identify all these values separately is because, apart from using the name to identify, you'll also use their index. Tell me, do you all get the rough idea of arrays, all of you? Like a rough idea of the difference between a variable and an array. Got it? Now, based on that, tell me, in array and variable, when you compare, in variable under one identifier, which means under one name, at a time, how many values can be stored in variables? In variables, under one name, at a time, how many values you can store? No, Sharma, it's a type of variable. Only one. In array, under one name, how many values you can store? Yes, sir. In array, under one name, How many values you can store? One or many? One or many? Exactly. You can store many values. That's the main difference between a variable and an array. Variable can store one value at a time. Arrays can store many values at a time. Is that clear, all of you? If there's any questions, drop in chat. Huh? Now let me tell you how this program works. Always in a program, the instructions that has to be followed will be mentioned in between this word called begin and end. These are the instructions that has to be followed. So if you look at here, look at this, what do you call, just look at these few lines and tell me, or look at, yeah, because this part is called, declaring an array. This top part is called, declaring array. Declaring array means you will be mentioning the name of the array and you will be mentioning the range of index. Range of index means I told you like that positions like 0, index 1. So you're going to tell in square brackets here how many index is this array going to have, like the range, and then you mention the data type of what type of values you're going to store. But just forget about that. That's not relevant for here. But if you look at this array, what is the name of the array mentioned here in this program? What is the name of that big box which you have? What is the name of the array we have? Or you can look at here also. What is the name of the arrays we have? Correct. The name of the array we have is num. Okay, there's an array called num. Now, when you look at the line, the declaration line, we call this whole line we call is declaring a variable. Huh? So if you look at this line, in square brackets, you can see they have mentioned a range. This 0, 2 dots 4 means it's representing a range. Huh? It's represent range of index. So if you look at here, you can see the range of index is starting from 0 and it's going up to 4, which means there's going to be a value in index number 0. There's going to be a value in index number 1. There's going to be a value in index number 2. There's going to be a value in index number 3. And there's going to be a value in index number 4. So in total, okay, index number 1, index number 2, index number 3, index number 4. Now, based on this, tell me between 2 to 4, 0 to 4, 0 to 4. See, look at this part, 0 to 4. So based on that, tell me in total, this array called num is storing how many values? So does that mean it will be in order and the order can be rearranged? It's like this. The orders, the position of the orders will be as this. And values you can modify. What is it, Rashida? Yes, you can see from 0 to 4, there are 5 values. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 boxes are there. Okay. Now what let's do is let's just go to the program and let's start filling it. Is it between 0 to 4 or 0 to from 0 to 4? There is an index ranging from 0 to 4. Yes, Shania. Now I'll tell you, this is what I've done here is I have just drawn a rough box to represent what is the meaning of this declaring array. Like basically, like how does an array will look like? There's an array called num. It will just have 4 values. But let's start going through the program and let's start giving values for that. Okay. The first instruction is saying num, array called num, index 0, the value is equal to 15. So what I'm going to go is I'm going to go to index 0 and I'm going to write the value as 15. Is this part clear, all of you? Understood how I represented this instruction? Perfect. The next instruction is saying array called num, index 2 has a value 18. So I go to index 2 and I go and mark the value as 18 here. The third instruction is like num4 is equal to 50. So I'm going to mention num4 as 50. The next instruction is like num1 is equal to num4 plus 10. What is the value of num4? Correct. Num4 is holding the value of 50. So when you say num4 plus 10, do the calculation and tell me, after you do this calculation, what will be the value of num1? Perfect. 50 plus 10 is equal to be 60. So I go and write here, it's 60. Next, we have num3 is equal to num0 plus num2. Do the mathematics, do the calculation and tell me what will be the value of num3 based on that. Do the calculation. Tell me what do you think the value of num is going to be? Yes. Num0 is equal to 15. Num2 is equal to 18. 15 plus 18 is going to be 33. And this is how the values of num are going to be. Tell me, are you all clear on how the num array got the values? Is this part up to here? Are you all clear? Got it? Okay, so there is an array called num, and we have just inserted the value. If there are any questions, drop your questions in the chat. Specifically mention what your question is, then I'll elaborate that respective part. So this is the main part of giving a value to the arrays. You have multiple index, and what you did here up to there, what you did is you just gave values for multiple index. You just gave values for different index. Now the next portion, what you're going to do is you have for loop here. If you look at this part, it's called a for loop, right? Now this is a different topic from array. Array is one topic, for loop is one topic. So they have joined these two topics. Now I'll tell you how does a for loop work, because you have to have both the knowledge to do this question. In a for loop, you'll notice that there is a variable represented here. See, they have mentioned for I is equal to 1 to 4 do. Look at this and tell me, what is the name of the variable mentioned here in the for loop? What is the variable they have given a value to? How did num3 get 33? Because they are saying here num3 is equal to num0 plus num2. Num0 you can see it's equal to 15. Num2 is equal to 18. So 15 plus 18 became 33. Got it? Okay. Yeah. So you can see the name of the variable mentioned there is I. They have mentioned it as a variable called I. Look at that and tell me the first value. They have mentioned I is equal to how much? They said I is equal to how much then in the beginning itself? I is equal to 1. Okay. In a for loop, you might notice they'll be mentioning the first line like this. For I is equal to 1 to 4, let's say. The meaning of that is the value of I is going to be first of all 1. 1 is a starting value of I. And what's special about for loop is it will follow the instruction below it. Now, this is the instruction to be followed. It will follow this instruction, and once done following the instruction, the value of the variable will automatically increase. After it follows the instruction, the value of the variable will automatically increase. After it increase, it will again follow the instruction. Then again increase the value. Then again follow the instruction. Then again increase the value. Now it will increase the value little by little until it reaches this end value. So what's going to happen is, first of all, the value of I is 1. No. So what's going to happen is it will follow the instruction mentioned here by considering the value of I as 1. Now, if you look at this instruction here, they have mentioned write ln. Write ln is used to display something. So in Pascal is a programming language. In Pascal, if you want to output something, you have two possible instructions you can use. One is you can use a function called write function, or else you can use a function called write ln. I'll tell you the difference about this later. So for now, just forget about those two words. But write ln is used to display something. Okay. Now, when you say write ln num I, you can say write ln, let's say output the value of array called num index I. When they say index I, what is the current value of I? First time when you are following the for loop, you are going to go to the for loop for the first time. What was the value of I we mentioned here? I was 1. So when you say write ln num I, the meaning of that is they're saying output the value we have in array called num index I. I is now 1. So output the value of index number 1. Look at this and tell me, based on what we did earlier, what is the value we have in index number 1? Array called num index 1. What is the value we have? Correct. We have the value as 60. So what's going to happen is 60 is going to get displayed. 60 is going to get displayed. And what I told about for loop is once you're done following the instruction, you come and increase the value of this variable automatically. So now currently you can see the value of I was 1. A variable mentioned at top is I, and the initial value was 1. When you automatically increase it by 1, what's the next value after 1? After 1, what's the next number we have? Perfect. After 1, the next number we have is 2. So what's going to happen is the value of I will automatically increase to 2. It will automatically increase to 2. And now again, it's going to follow the instructions inside the for loop. Now when you say write ln num I, We are saying output array called num index I. Now the value of I is what? 2. So if you say write in num2, what do you think will get displayed? What is the value we have in index number 2? Perfect. In index number 2, we have the number 18. Once it's done with this, again, once you're done following the instructions, you again come and increase the value. So now if the value of I was 2, if you increase it, how much it will be? What is the next value after 2? Correct. Next value after 2 is 3. So now what's going to happen is you're going to follow the instructions again, write in a number, which means display the value of array called num index 3. In index 3, what is the number we have? Correct. Index 3, you can see here we have 33. So 33 get displayed. Once you're done following the instructions, again the value of I will increase. After 3, what is the next value we have? What should be the next value of I? It's going to be I is going to become 4. And you're going to follow the instructions inside. What is the instruction? Write in num I, which means display the value of array called num index I. Now I is 4. So display num4 means what is the value that's going to get displayed? Perfect. In the array called num, you can see index number 4. The value we have is 50. So 50 get displayed. Now, if you're going to ask me, after 4, are we going to go to 5? No. The reason we don't go to 5 is because if you look at the array, they have said for I is equal to 1 to 4 do, which means I will start with 1 and the variable called I, it will end with 4. So after 4, it's going to stop the repetitions and go for the instructions after that. After that, the next instructions end, so the program ends. And that is how this program works. Is that clear, all of you? Then don't need to add all. Are we adding all? Oh, no. Is output statement meaning adding? No, right? Just write elements output. Output the value of number. So technically, in this program, how many outputs have we got? How many outputs did we get? Correct. We got 4 outputs. A while ago, I told you in Pascal, if you want to output a value, you have 2 instructions, write and write ln. Let me tell you the difference between write and write ln. Okay. When you say write, what happens is, okay. When you say write, what happens is, it will just display the value. So if I say write 60, and if I say, let's say write 18, what's going to happen is it's going to display 16, then it's going to display 18. It's just going to display, and go. When you say the word called write ln, it will display and go for the next line. The meaning of write ln is display and go for the next line. So when I say write ln 60 or write ln 18, what's going to happen is it's going to and go follow the next instruction. Then write in 18, it will display 18 and go for the next line. That is the difference between write and write in. What will write do is it will just display, and display. So 60, 18, whatever is going to display and go. If it's write ln, after displaying the value, you will be like, go for the next line and follow the next instruction. Tell me, are you clear about the difference between write and write ln? I'm still not done explaining this question. Wait, poruma. Did I tell you all what is the answer for this question yet? No. I'm still explaining the question. I'll give you all time to ask certain doubts. Wait. Why it hasn't been output in order? Because that's how the program went. Okay. Why didn't you tell this in theory class? Purposely. I told I'll be taking this paper class. Come for the paper class and listen to it. What do you call it? Yeah. So when you say write ln 60, write ln 18, what happened was, so basically the output of this program is going to be 60. Okay. The output of this program is going to be 60, 18, 33, and 50, one below the other. Is that clear, all of you? The question is asking what's the output of the program. So the answer for this question is the output of the program is, if you just write only this for the answer, you get marks. Is there a rule to write the outputs in ascending order? No. Did you see how I got the outputs? You saw how I found the output, right? I followed the instruction and record. Did you see how I fill this table? When I fill this table, did I randomly fill this table? Is I an output table? No, right? I followed the instruction in the pseudo, the what you call Pascal program. What was the instruction? I equals 1. And then what? Write a number. So I displayed 60. Then I equals, I became 2. Then write a number 2. So I follow the instruction, the code. That order only I filled it here. Why can't you put 15? Did we display the value of 15? Did we display the value of num0? No, right? You can see we started with what? I equals 1. So when you say write a num I, the first value which got displayed was array called num index 1, not index 0. When if they give I equals 0 to 4, then you should start the value from 0. Exactly. If they give I equals 0 to 4, then you have to display from 15 to 50. Should we do the steps also? No. If you write only this, you get the marks. That's it. There's no steps for this. Just the final answer is enough. So you just whatever highlighted in green color, if you write only that much, more than enough. I'll explain again the next other question. Easy, exactly. So the final answer is 60. Basically, this is the question is asking the output of the program. I already found the output here. See, 16, 18, 33, 50. You write in the output, don't write the output comma separated, write the output one below the other. The reason I said one below the other is because they use write ln. In write ln, you display and go for the next line. So when you say write ln 60, write ln 80, after you display 60, we're not going to display, we're not going to follow the next instruction. You go for the next line and follow the next instruction. So when you say write ln 80, display 18 here. In write 60, write 18, you follow the instruction, same line. So write 60, display 60. Write 18, display 18. So in write, just display. The meaning of the word write is just display only. But if it's write ln, you'll be like display and then go for next line. Something like that. Make sense? No, 15 is not output. How do you say 15 is output, man? Weren't you listening all this time? Didn't you notice how I fill this table? Value of I started with 1. So it started with 1 to 4, right? So when I became 1, you displayed num 1. Then I became 2, you displayed num 2. That's how it worked. We didn't study this also, but you get 5 minutes to complete the question. For fun. That is just to be, because without arrays knowledge also, you could have done this question. If you don't have array knowledge, you should have thought, okay, num0 means, imagine there's a variable called num0. Like without thinking, if you don't know array knowledge also, you could have done this question. You could have thought there's a variable called num0. If you just remove the square brackets, and you could have thought, okay, num0 is a variable, num1 is a variable. You could have thought that these are 6 different variables, or 5 different variables. So technically, you do not know the knowledge of how the for loop works, or you do not know the value how, because if you don't know array also, you could have done this question. Okay, you could have ignored the square bracket. Just remove the square brackets, then you will have this as 5 different variables, right? So that is not a suitable answer. That without arrays knowledge, you can't do this. Is not a suitable answer. If I write like num1 equals 60 and all, other than the num, is it correct? Not necessary. What's required is just this output green color thing. It's more logical thinking, not exactly logical thinking. It's just that you have to follow, you have to be poruma and follow instructions line by line. You saw how did you see how I fill that table? When I fill this table, did I go and fill 1, 2, 3, 4, first of all, and then 16, 18, 33, 50? Did I fill column by column, or did I go and fill first I, then 60, the row by row? Which order did I fill? Column by column or row by row? How did I fill this table? Exactly. I fill row by row, right? When I fill that row by row, did I just randomly fill it? Or did I follow an instruction and then fill? Follow and fill or random? Follow or random? How did I fill that table? Exactly. I followed the instruction in the program and I recorded it in the table. I followed the instruction and record it here. And that is how you do programming questions. If you do it with what do you call a bit of horuma, what do you say, what do you, patience, you can easily get the question correct. Anyways, I'll clear all of you how I found the answer. All good? Follow and fill, exactly. Yes, up here. Okay. Before I give you another question, I'll give you a similar question to see if you really got the idea. Dun, 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 dun. The letter I stand for what? It's a variable. That's how rush to the paper class goes. And wait, while k is less than or equal to 4, Um, yeah, you can do this question. I'll give you 5 minutes to do this question A. It's easy question. Once you're done, raise your hands up in the participants list. Huh? This is the question A. Is this question similar to the last one? Arrays concept is used here. It's a bit different, not exactly same. It's a fresh question which has a similar, a bit similar to the previous one, not exactly similar. What does k represent here? It's a variable. See, k equals 1. So the initial value of k is 1. K is a variable. Again, if they say something is equal to something, definitely it's a variable. It can be a letter or it can be a word. It's all variables. Can our mind handle this question? I'll tell you how to do this question after 5 minutes. If you're like coming to my class, you all should know something called dry run. You got to use a dry run here, but do this question. Then I'll tell you. Question is confusing. When I do the question, it will be like, so we could have done it so simply like this. Now you'll be regretting your life. But anyways, do. Should we copy the question? No, just write the answer. Just write 2019 oral paper, question number 7, Roman number 1, question A. Do. You have 3 minutes remaining. If you're done, raise your hands up. Huh? Zoom. I don't know, Rashida. I didn't still do it. I don't get the if condition. Replace the name of the variable with its respective value and do the question. This is Greek. After it takes in 2 minutes, you'll be like, this is Montessori English. Seriously. No, Rashida, only the pen. Mug is a different story. That was a comparison. You'll have 1.5 minutes to think. Enjoy thinking. Okay, some of them done. It's a very easy question. Why is this so hard? I don't know. I'll tell you one thing. While I'm explaining, make sure 100% listen. Huh? If you do that, you will be like, this question is very easy. I'll guarantee and tell you. It is not eating. So IT is not writing. Don't worry. It will writing in a file. We have different definitions for easy. Nah, to be honest, I'll tell you, la, once I finish explaining this, you'll be like, sir, this Baba question no gila. I'll guarantee and tell you that. But you have to listen. Huh? If you go out of focus and when I'm explaining, if you go and eat and drink and see your friend, brother and sister and speak at someone, then obviously no. But if you focus and listen, you'll be like, this is Baba question. Gila. Yes, Rashida. Not bad. 13 of you all have done it. Let's see. Okay, your time is up. Look at the pin. In this question, they have given you array and they're asking the output of the pseudocode. Any programming question, when they ask you output of a program, draw something called as a dry run. I'll explain what a dry run is. A dry run is basically a table that's going to include one column each for every variable in this program and one column each for every condition. Conditions are like questions we have in this program. Huh? For every questions, one column, and every variable, one column. Now, if you're confused where to go and find variables, there are two places you can find variables in a program. Yes, Safia. Okay. So in terms of what you call variables, you can go and find variables in inside input instructions like input x, input num, input statements, or get num, read num, enter num. Those input statements you can find, or else in equations you can find. Look at this program and tell me, can you see any input instructions, like any instructions saying input x or input num or get or read or enter? Have we, okay, are there any instruction that start with this word, these words, input, enter, read, get, write? Any instruction asking the user to give it a value? No. In this program, there is no any input statements. In this program, are there any equations? Yes. How many equations are there? How many equations can you see? Equation is a statement which has an equal symbol. That's right. This is 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4. So how many, what do you call equations are there here? There are 4 equations. In the first equation, we are giving a value to which variable? In the first equation, we are giving an amount, or we are giving something to which variable? Always keep in mind, in an equation, you give a value to who is in the left-hand side. So who is in the left-hand side? Value. Okay, all know. If I go and say x equals 5, if I say display 5, will it display 5 or will it display x? If I say display 5, it will display 5 or display x. But a practical element, you know, some not close cases, man. If I say price is equal to 15, okay. If I say display 20, what will get displayed? 20 will get displayed. Correct. If I say display 15, what will get displayed? 15 will get displayed. Why? 15 has a value. 20 has a value. These are quantitative data. These are called quantitative data. It's a data that has a value. If a data has a value, we call the data as a quantitative data. Okay. But if I say display price, the word called price, okay, if you want to display the text called price, if you want to display this text, if you want the output to be PRIC, if you want this to be the output, then you want to mention the word called price inside inverted commas. If you mention this inside inverted commas, then the output will be price. But if you mention a display statement like this, if you mention display price like this, it will think price is a variable. Now I will go and say, does price have value? Does price have value here? Yes. What is the value of price? 15. Exactly. So this statement will display 20. This statement will display 15. This statement will display price. And this statement will display 15. Does that make sense? So if you mention a value to, if you like display 20, if you just mention a value directly, it will display its value. If you mention text with an inverted commas, the text will get displayed. If you mention text without inverted commas, it will consider this text as a variable name. Okay, it will consider this text as a variable name. What about 20? 20 has a value. If this 20 has a value, can you measure 20? Yeah, you can't measure 20. If I ask to bring 20 pencils and come, you don't know, you can't even measure that. You can, right? It's a measuring value. Anything that can be measured, you don't put inverted commas. The quantitative data, you don't put inverted commas. For quantitative data, you don't put inverted commas. Anyways, that's not my point. The point is simple. My point is when I say display 15, will it display number 15 or will it display the what do you call the word called price? Exactly, it's going to display the value 15. So always keep in your mind in an equation, we give a value for the person or for the name or whatever that's mentioned in the left hand side. Is that clear? We always give for who is the left hand side. You say x equals 5. Okay, the meaning is there's a value variable called x, and the value of that variable x is called 5. Is that clear? It's not 5 equals x, huh? It's x equals 5. Is that part clear for you? So based on that, if you look at this variable, the first line we have mentioned, we are giving a value for the variable called value. In the second equation, we are giving a value for which variable? What is the variable we are giving a value for? Correct. We are giving a value for the variable called k. In the third equation, we are giving a value for whom? Giving for whom? Giving for whom? I told you, when I say for whom, we are talking about the left-hand side. In the equation, we are always giving a value for what is mentioned in the left-hand. I know you all know what is sides, right? This is right side and this is left side. It looks like a Montessori class, but anyway, it's fine. So the equation, we are giving a value for who is the left-hand side. So in this equation, who is the left-hand side? This is the left-hand side value. Okay, its value. Look at the last equation. Tell me the last equation. We are giving a value for whom? What is the variable we are giving a value for? Correct. We are giving a value for k. So if you notice here, the variables we have mentioned here are what? Value, value, k, k. So what you're going to do is you're going to take the unique variable names, the unique equations we are giving a value. Okay. So basically value and k, these are two variables we have. You don't mention four different columns. Okay. Just mention every names only once. So you have value as one variable, k as one variable. Even though they are used twice, you can value is used here as well, here as well. K is used here as well, here as well. So even though it's used multiple times, just take the unique variable names. There's a variable called value. There's a variable called k. Is this part clear? So for the dry run is a table. Huh? To draw this table, I am done figuring out the variables. We have figured out all the variables in this program. Now let's see the questions. Just look at this program and tell me how many conditions you can see. Conditions are like questions you're going to check. You're going to go and check something. Is it equal? Is it greater? Is it less than? Likewise, you're going to ask a question kind of scenario. So look at this program and tell me how many conditions you can notice. That means one variable we shouldn't repeat in this dry run. We're not drawing the table. Draw the unique right? Include the unique variable names. The purpose of I asked to go to equation is I said you can go to equations to find variable names. So we had four equations. In the four equations we saw, there's a variable name called value. There's a variable name called k. Apart from value and k, there is no other variable names mentioned. So for one column I use for value, another column I use for k. But the purpose of going to the equation is to find out the variable names used in the program. Got it? Yes, I mean, I'll post in the WhatsApp community. The recordings will be there, posted in the WhatsApp community. End if means end of if statement, and while is end of a while loop. Correct. You can see there's a condition used here. So this is one condition. And there's another condition used here if ak is less than value. So technically there is two conditions used. So I'm going to have one column for that while loops condition. That is, I'm going to go and mention there is k less than or equal to 4. AK is there here. Is k less than or equal to 4. Another condition I have is array A index k value less than value. Okay. Only these are the conditions I have. So I have put two columns for the variables and two columns for the conditions because this program had two variables and two conditions. Up to here, is that clear? Up to here, what happened? Yes. Perfect. Then just have one more column called output. Just one column called output. It's right. So what I have drawn here is a table, right? We call this table as a dry run. How you draw the table? Figure out the variables, figure out the conditions. Now let me fill this table. Look at how I'm filling it carefully. Where is the second condition here? Let me highlight it here. This is one condition, the another condition. Why didn't mention K inside brackets? Which column you're talking about? First column, second column, third column, fourth column, fifth column. Then K equals K plus 1. I said in a unique variable names. When we went to equations to find unique variables name. In the first equation, the value of what was the variable mentioned? Value. The second equation, what was the variable mentioned? K. Third equation, what was the value mentioned? Value. Fourth equation, who are we giving the value for K? Here we are giving for value, here we are giving for K, value, K. Out of these four words, if I ask you what are the unique words here, what's your answer? Out of these four words, what are the unique words you can see here? Value and K. So technically, I ask you to go to the equations. I ask you to refer these equations to find out where we don't care about equations, man. We care about variable names. Did I even mention it? I told you can find the variable names in two places. If you're confused of how to find variables, you can search for variable names in two places. I just want the unique variables and unique conditions, etc. So I went through all the equations we have and found out the variable names and found out the conditions, etc. Got it? Asma will explain it. Okay, so there's two variables mentioned, that's value and K. It's right. Only those two variables, others are not variables. And there's two conditions we have mentioned. How can we identify it's a question? If the answer is going to be true or false, it's a condition. When you read that, if I ask you, while K is less than or equal to 4, what is the answer? Is the answer a number? If I ask you, is K less than or equal to 4, will your answer be a number or will your answer be like a Boolean value? Boolean means like yes or no, true or false. If I ask you, is K less than or equal to 4, or while K is less than or equal to 4, if your answer is a number, it's a variable. If your answer is a Boolean, it's a condition. Simple. Okay, so that's how you identify if it's a condition. Anyways, that is a basic knowledge. While loop, if condition, that's where you get conditions. Huh? Repetition structure or selection structure. That's the only place where you get conditions. So for the table, two variables, two conditions, and one output is necessary. It will vary from program to program. In this program, we had only two variables. In this program, we had only two conditions. But if I show you another program, that program might have different number of variables and different number of conditions. Dry run is made based on the program. You go for the program, figure out what are the variables, figure out what are the conditions, and then you create the table. Got it? So in this program, there's only two variables. One is value, another one is K. There's two conditions, is K less than and is AK less than. Okay, now I'll show you how to fill this table. So how you fill this table is you're going to follow all the instructions from top to bottom. You follow the instruction and record it in the table. Again, keep in your mind, I'm going to fill the table by following the instruction. What you all are doing is majority of you all Arapadachi cases, you don't follow the instructions. You'll directly randomly start filling the table. See how I'm filling the table. Huh? Focus on how I'm filling the table. In the middle, if you ask questions, stupid questions, where I notice that you're not focusing and asking, I'm not answered out. Huh? So make sure you focus on how I'm filling the table. Like, don't come and ask me, how did this number come for the table? Half time in the end of the table. When I maintain, you can ask. But once I finish the whole question, don't come and say, how did that number come, killer? See how I'm filling the table. Huh? When you say value equals 0, we're saying the variable value is going to hold the amount of the array called A, index 0. Look at this array called A. Look at the index 0 and tell me, what is the amount we have in index 0? What is the amount stored by A0? Exactly. A0 has the amount of 80. So when you say value is equal to A0, what we're saying is, or again, I told you, in an equation, we're giving a value for which one? Are we giving a value for the left-hand side mentioned variable or right-hand side mentioned value name? In a variable, always we're giving an amount. We're giving a value for whom? Yes, always keep in mind, in a variable, we're giving a value for the left-hand side mentioned name. So we are saying value is going to be equal to A0. That means 80. So I go and mention here as 80. Value is equal to 80. Got it? Perfect. Now we're done with that instruction. We're going for the next instruction. The next instruction is saying k equals 1. So under the column called k, I go and mention the value as 1. Clear? Got it? Okay. Now we go for the next instruction. Next instruction is while k is less than or equal to 4. Look at the value of k and tell me when I go and check the when I go and what do you call check this equal to 4. Okay, is the value of k less than or equal to 4 at the moment? At the moment, look at the table and tell me when I go and check is the value of k less than or equal to 4. Will this condition give me true or false? Now currently the value of k is 1, right? So if you go and check is 1 less than or equal to 4, will this condition give me true or will this condition give me false? Perfect. This condition is going to give me true. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and mark the value here as true. I'm saying this condition is giving me true. Now, in a while loop, what happens is you have instructions mentioned in between a word called while and end while. The word while shows the beginning of the repetition, end while shows the end of the repetition. So in between there only, you mention the instruction that has to be repeated. In a while loop, you repeat the instructions if the mentioned condition, along with while, the condition you mentioned it, if that mentioned condition is true, do you repeat? Or if the condition is false, do you repeat? In which situation do you repeat? I ask her, remember about the World Trade Center, which means while, true, continue. While loop, you follow the instructions when the condition is true. Okay. Only if it's true, you will, for example, if I tell you all, while raining, hold the umbrella. If I tell you all, okay, while raining, hold the umbrella, will you hold the umbrella when that condition? The condition is what? While raining. I'm saying while raining, hold the umbrella. You're going to go and check, is it raining? When you go and check, is it raining? You have two answers, no, yes or no. So if I say while raining, hold the umbrella, you'll hold the umbrella when this condition gives you yes or when this condition gives you no. If I say while raining, hold the umbrella, you go and check, is it raining? So you go and check, is it raining? When your answer is yes, I'm going to hold the umbrella or no, I'm going to hold the umbrella. Exactly. You'll be holding the umbrella when your answer is yes. So similarly, when you say while k is less than or equal to 4, you're going to go and check, is that condition true? If the condition is true, you're going to follow the instruction. The first instruction we have there is if ak is less than value. When we say ak, we are saying array called a, index k. Now, if you look at the dry run table, tell me, what is the value of k at the moment? Look at the column k, latest. When I ask what is the value of k, you look at the column's latest value. Huh? Value is 1. So you're going to check the array called k, a, index called 1. The value we have index 1, it is less, is it less than value? First of all, tell me, what is the amount which is being held by the array A index 1? Array A index 1, what is the amount that it's holding? Correct. It's holding the amount of 100. You can see here it's holding the amount of 100. What is the amount we have in the variable called value? Look at the dry run table called value, latest value, and tell me what is the amount we have under value? Correct. It's 80. So when you go and check, is 100 less than 80? What do you think that condition is going to give you? True or false? Is 100 less than 80? True means yes, false means no. If I come and ask you, is 100 rupees less than 80 rupees? Is 100 less than 80? No, it's false. It is false. Okay. So if you look at this if condition, the if statement starts from here and it ends from here. You look at this if statement and tell me, have we mentioned what to do if this mentioned condition is false? Like, is there a specific instruction to follow if this condition is false? Have you mentioned that? Where did the 100 come from? It's A1, right? You can see here in the top pixel, the array A index 1, the value is 100. Anyways, have you mentioned what to do if the condition is false? No. Normally in a selection structure, in if statement, if you want to mention what to do if it's false, what is the keyword we use? Within that if statement, if you want to mention what to do if that condition is false, what is the keyword we use? we use a keyword called else. Okay, if AEK is less than value, then value equals AEK, else value equals something you mentioned. Now, have you mentioned anything called else here? No. We go for the next instruction. Okay, we go. It's a variable, Andrea, not a array. Now I go for the next instruction. Next instruction is what? After end, if the next instruction we have k equals k plus 1. Again, I told you in equation, we give the value for who is in the left hand side. So we are going to find the value of k. We are saying k is equal to k plus 1. Look at the dry run and tell me, currently, at the moment, what is the value of k? Correct. If you look at the column k, you can see the value currently we have is 1. So when you say 1 plus 1, what is the value of 1 plus 1? Correct. 1 plus 1 is going to be equal to 2. So based on that, the value of k is going to be 2. So all this time k was 1. Now the value of k gets modified. It becomes 2. So I cut until now the value of k has become 2. Up to here, is that clear of what I did? If you have any questions, drop in the chat. Up to here, what happened? When you are doing it's easy. That's because you have to do it porumaya. Okay. Now, in a while loop, when you reach the end while, what you do is you again go and check the condition. In a while loop, when you reach the end while, you again go and check the condition. So when you again go and check the condition, is k less than or equal to? Look at the current latest value of k and tell me, is it when you check, is it less than or equal to 4? What will that answer be? True or false? In that AK condition, how do you know that k means index? And what else k could be? Because what happens when you mention what do you call k as it is, does k has a value? Because what happens is a square brackets k means array called a in square brackets, a number has to mention. Without mentioning a number, if you had mentioned the letter here, that means this has to be a variable. Why do you not take second value in code? Just now second value came in. After second value came only, now we went for in after invite. Okay. Yes. When you again go and check the condition, is k less than or equal to 4? K is now 2. When you go and check is 2 less than or equal to 4, that's going to give you true. So I record the true. Now I go for the next instruction. Because it's true, I'm going to follow the instruction inside. Because I told you World Trade Center, while true, continue. The while loops condition, if it's true, you continue the instruction instead. Inside we have if AK equals value, which means array A index K is amount less than value. Array A index K. K is now how much? K is 2 now. So look at the amount we have in index 2 and tell me the amount we have in index 2, is it less than value? Is this amount less than the amount we have in value? Is A2 less than 80? Yes or no? Value is 80. If you go and check is 70 less than 80, yes, it is. It is going to be true. So I go and mark here true. Now, if you look at the selection structure, we have said if AK is less than value, then value is equal to AK. I have mentioned here what to do if it's true. We are saying value is going to be equal to AK. I always told you in equation, we are giving the value for who is in the left-hand side. So we are saying value is equal to array A index K. K is how much? K is 2. So array A index 2. What is the amount we have in index 2? Array A index 2. What is the amount we have? No, Andrea. Patience, patience, patience. You think I'll stop this question half and run away and go? Wait, man, wait. A2 is 70. So what we are going to do is you're going to say the amount of value is now 70. And then I go for the next instruction. The next instruction is k equals k plus 1. Tell me, after I follow this instruction, what will be the new value of k? After I follow the instruction k equals k plus 1, what's going to be the new value of k? Correct. When you say k equals k plus 1, when I say k is equal to the current value of k plus 1. Currently k is 2. K plus 1 means it's going to be 3. Then the next instance, end while. I told you when you reach the end while, you again go and check the condition. If you go and check now, is k less than or equal to 4? Currently k is 3. If you go and check is 3 less than or equal to 4, that's going to give you true. So I go and mark it true. Next, next instance is ak less than value. Ak means array A index k. K is 3, no? You go and see is A3 less than value. Is A3 less than value? Array A index 3. The amount of that, is it less than value? Yes. So I'm going to mention true. Because it's true, we're going to say value is equal to AK. So that means value is equal to array A index K. K is 3. So array A index 3 is 65. So value is going to be 65. The next instruction is K equals K plus 1 and K becomes 4. Up to here, is that clear, all of you? Perfect. If you have any questions, drop your questions specifically. Don't comment until I did not understand. Huh? That is not a question. If you did not understand, you will be always asking me a question. What's the output? Poruma. Did I finish the question? No. When I'm finishing the question, I'll tell you this is the output and I'll tell you the answer. Whenever I finish the answer, I'll highlight the answer in green color. Keep that in your mind. If I have highlighted anything in green color yet, no. Wait. Oh, bloody. What do you call the patientless human beings, huh? How many times should we repeat the condition? Until this condition gives you false. The condition along with while. So now when you reach end while, you again go and check the condition. Okay, you again go and check the condition. When you now go and check is k less than or equal to 5, 4, that condition is going to give you true. The next instruction is ak less than value. Ak means array A index k. Okay. So index k is index 4. You're going to check is index 4 amount less than value. Index 4, we have 95. Array A index 4, we have 95. So you're going to go and check is 95 less than value. Currently, 95, AK has a value of 95. Value has 65. So when you go and check is 95 less than 65, what will this condition give you? True or false? Correct. That condition is going to give you false. Have I mentioned in the selection structure what to do if that condition is false? In the yellow color highlighted statement, have I mentioned what to do if the condition is false? No. Then I go for the next instruction after the selection structure. That is k equals k plus 1. After I follow that instruction k equals k plus 1, what will be the value of k? Follow the instruction k equals k plus 1. What will be the value of k? Perfect. It will become 5. After it becomes 5, you reach the end while. No? When you reach the end while, you again go and check the condition. Now, when you go and check the condition, is k less than or equal to 4? What will be the result of? When you go and check is k less than or equal to 4? What will be the result of that condition? True or false? Why is my laptop stuck? Okay. Exactly. That will become false. For a while loop, if the while loop's condition is false, like if I say while raining, hold the umbrella. If it is not raining, will you hold the umbrella? I'm saying while raining, hold the umbrella. If it is not raining, are you going to hold the umbrella? No. So similar here also, when the while loop's condition is false, what you do is you stop the repetition. You stop following the instructions inside the while loop. So now because the condition gave false, I'm going to go for the instruction after end while. After end while, the instruction we have is what? Display value. Look at the table and tell me the value variable is holding how much? Variables latest value, always latest value. Yes, Andrea. Correct. The variable call values, latest value you can see 65. Okay. So when you say display value, it's going to display 65. And then next instruction end. So the question is asking what's the output of the program? The output of the program is 65. This is the answer for the question. Is that clear, all of you? Yes or no? If no, why not 95? Are you really a sport? Huh? Can't you see what this number here is? That's it. Just one output here, only one output. How should we do this question in given 5 minutes? You can do this question in 2 minutes. I drag this question because I was explaining line by line. But if you know how to draw a dry run, you will do this question in 2 minutes. How you got the output? When you say display value, I went to the column called value. I checked its latest value. The value under that column, what's the amount we have at last? The last value in that column was 65, so 65. And you say display, if I say display, okay, if I say display K, what do you think will get displayed? Do we want to write all these methods in the paper? This is a method which I invented, there is a syllabus even. I did not invent this. I don't know where I learned it. I have learned it. I don't know where I learned it, but this method is not there in the syllabus. But if you know this method, you can easily do questions. Dry run is not there in the syllabus. Dry run is not there in the syllabus. But if you know how to do a dry run in a paper, you will easily get the answer. Practice makes perfect. Exactly. Depends on the question I have. I will recommend you to draw the dry run for all the programming questions asking you for the output. So answer is just 65. Yes, the answer is just 65. Anyways, the point here is draw dry run whenever you get questions asking. Okay, simple question. If this after display value, if there was the instruction here saying display K, what do you think the value of K will be? What do you think the next output will be? After display value, if there was another instruction called display K, what will happen? The first part, array part is false, right? Which one? Line number what? I said the while loops condition has to give you false. That is, this is the condition we have along with the while loop. While K is the second condition we have if condition. If is actually a selection structure. While is only repetition structure. The while loops condition has to give you false for the loop to stop. If I say display value, see display K, that's going to get displayed here after 65. Correct. You can see the value of K is 5. So if you say display K, 5 has to get displayed. Perfect. Why there's a value, 3 values in topic value? I will post the recording in the community. Go and watch the recording again of how I explain this question. That's why I told you, whenever I fill a value, look at the table. I did not fill this table. Okay, I'll ask you a question. Did I fill this table column by column? Or did I fill this table row by row? Or did I fill this table instruction by instruction? How did I fill this table? Column, row, or instruction? Instruction by instruction. Keep in your mind, in a dry run, there is no connection between columns and there is no connection between rows. Even though I write it like a table, these are irrelevant values. These are five different standalone columns. Even though I have put it together, it's 5 different columns. Imagine this as 5 different tables. It's not, even though I have written it in one table, it's 5 standalone columns. That's why I always say, see the latest value in a column, see the latest value in a column, see the latest value in a column, because there is no connection between columns and rows here. It's just that you follow an instruction here and go and record it here. Follow an instruction, record it here. Follow an instruction, record it here. That's the purpose of the dry run. Is that clear, all of you? The dry run, we always focus on the latest value. We don't care about the old values. So make sure you fill the dry run instruction by instruction. Depends on the school culture. It can vary. Anyways, for today, that's the section we're going to do. With that, we're over. We'll be continuing next week. But I hope you all understood dry run. Anyways, if you have any questions, you can stay and ask others, you can leave. We're done for the day. And yeah, too much of anything, I think. Should we draw dry run in the exam paper? It's better if you can draw, even though it's not there in a syllabus. It's something which people knows. Many people know it. I mean, they don't teach it because they don't teach in O levels, they don't teach in A levels, they don't teach in degree. I think A levels they might teach. It depends. I can't remember where I learned dry run. The class sounds like it's missing grades. What are you all doing here? True, correct. Yes, Rashida. That's why I said I need until June I'll take to finish the programming questions. Same time next week, yeah. Every Tuesdays 4:30 to 6 o'clock. Why isn't it 6:30? Too much of anything is good for nothing. So 1.5 hours. Imagine if I did another one more question, your head will burst. So you're always consume only what you can consume. If you try consuming too much, your head will burst. That's why paper class will go very slowly and I focus on the quality more. Yes, Walaikum Salam. I'll tell Akib the next month has 5 weeks something. So yeah. Are these explanations available in your? I don't think can be. Yeah. While loop, yes. If statement, yes. Not the range. But anyways, that's nothing. How did you write in a paper? How do you write in the paper? Just 65? Yes, just 65. If you ask what is the output, just 65. If you had only 65, you get full marks. No method, nothing is needed. True, 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 Nadia. Good luck, Maria. Yes, Rashida. Where did you study right now? I'm not serious, sure. I think I learned in A levels, but the thing is, there's less possibility for that. So I'm not sure. Yeah, you all can leave. Though I said those who have questions, you all can stay and ask. Others, if you don't have questions, you all can leave. Yes, Raya. Welcome. Will you give tunes to programming? Go and watch these recordings, first few section where I was talking about this part. Then you will know in the recording the answer to your question. You're welcome. Bye bye. Walaikum salam. Okay, I have answered all the questions that came in the chat. Anyways, what do you call? I'll be posting the recording again in the WhatsApp community. So if there's anyone of you who joined late, just make sure just watch the recording because I have mentioned certain details about the class there. I'll be mentioning the recording in the group in a while. So make sure you go and watch it. So you get the idea of what is paper class, what we'll be doing, how it will go, all those stuff. What I'll be doing, what you have to have, blah, 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 blah. Anyways, with that, we're done. Have a nice day. Tata. Bye bye. Enjoy. I'm going in the meeting.